Manoir. I have been honoured to work amongst you for almost the last 30 years. Undoubtedly the most satisfying and fascinating aspect of my career. I first visited Japan in 1978 and immediately fell in love with all things Japanese, including, of course, although sometime later, my wife Ayako, who sadly can't be here tonight. I was immediately struck by the very tangible sense of harmony that exists in this great city and all over Japan, and which derives from individuals living not just for themselves, but also for their fellow men and for Japanese society. I was astonished at the care with which Japanese take over small details, details that would be ignored or overlooked elsewhere, particularly shown in the exquisite craftsmanship that goes into even quite humble things. And the way in which in Japan high quality has never been confused with luxury, as it is in Europe and America. So quality as an ideal can be pursued without any detractors, to the great advantage of Japanese business, whose reputation for quality is now unmatched. I also found over time loyalty and trustworthiness from everybody that I encountered. Even those businesses which for a time struggled to survive took great pains to settle their debts in an honourable way. There was also a strong sense of continuity. I met and was made to feel welcome by those who my predecessors, particularly Sidney Fowler and Terence Coakley, had themselves dealt with. Of course, following those substantial figures was not easy, but you never made me feel anything less than respected and appreciated. Of course, P&I is a form of mutual self-help that blends well with Japanese thinking, which takes a long-term view of business and business relationships. It is insurance, but insurance built not just on the exchange of premiums for claims, but on a deeply shared understanding of the risks faced by ship owners every day, from the awful power of the unforgiving oceans to the rapacious attentions of corrupt or incompetent officials, or to the simple errors that accompany any human endeavour, but which at sea can prove devastating. As such, it is really a contract based on trust. Trust that when things go wrong, as sadly and inevitably they will, even in the best run companies, the club will be beside you, urgently seeking every means to solve the problem in whatever way they can, and deal with the costs, even totally unexpected costs. I can see friends here too numerous to mention by name, some of whom have already themselves retired. In that respect, our business is doubly satisfying. The build-up of trust engenders friendship, and one of the many advantages of our world is that our friendships can extend to every continent, and we can travel to cement them far more easily than many other people can. It's impossible for me to say farewell without making reference to the colleagues that I've worked with in Japan over the years. Luke Redman, who as you know is now chairman of Thomas Miller P&I, spent a great deal of time here in the late 70s and 80s and was instrumental in setting up the club's Japan branch office in 1989. Luke is particularly remembered for his work on pollution issues, especially OPA 90, as well as the early LNG contracts with Indonesia. Nigel Carden, who takes responsibility for Japan now amongst the managers, joined me here from the early 90s onwards. And he is also known for his expertise in environmental issues, as well as LNG, and has also handled many of the most difficult and expensive claims that have occurred in recent years. He is now very well known to all of you, and I have not the least doubt that you will give him all the support and friendship that you've given me over the years. Great tribute must also be paid to my Japanese colleagues, particularly Moto Segura, who, as you can see, is destined to outlast us all. Not only is he still winning any long driver contest that he cares to enter, but he's already won the Long Service Award, having started with Dodwell as long ago as 1964. And he is still the linchpin around which the club functions in Japan. It's very difficult to say goodbye to somewhere that has become something of a second home. I suspect, however, that my farewell may be short-lived, and I will continue to invent many reasons for coming to visit my friends and the many lovely places in which Japan abounds. Domo arigatou gozaimashita.